upside down and shaking all around. They see no end inside. I thought I was losing. I remember what you say. You've got a place for me. Protection from the storm. It's you I'm choosing. You've got a love so pure. It pulls me in for sure. It's all consuming. Your gentle lovingness washes away my mess. It proves you truly love the real me. Behold the beauty of the Lord. Oh, it washes me whiter than snow. Oh, this I know for sure. Your love, it makes me pure. Come wash over me and make me clean. Behold the beauty of the Lord. When I wanna run away, you gently.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Recovery Unplugged Live. After a 3-week hiatus, we are back. We have Del Weston from AOF Megafest in the house. We have L. Andrew Cooper here, and we have our special guest tonight. You heard her intro song, Behold the Beauty, Lina Figueroa. And, of course, we have our hostess with the mostest, Amy McCorkle. How are you?
I am doing great. I've got movie, like everything is lining up, and it's, Dell told me, and everybody was telling me, like, this actually last year was going to be my year before COVID hit, but they said this year was definitely my year, and it's definitely bearing true. We recently won some awards at a French film festival called Advocacy, and we were official selections in 11 different categories. Then we were finalists in 6 categories, and then we won 4: Best Narrative Feature, Best Drama, Best Director, and Best Lead Actress.
Wow. Nice job. I mean, Vegas is cool, but France?
Well, Vegas is still the best.
I'm looking forward to going. For sure.
So, I
had French fries for lunch.
They're freedom fries.
I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the man of the hour, Del Weston, of AOF Megafest. I'm working with him on a film as one of the leads. He's playing Governor Mitchum in The Guardian Sacrifice, which is based on my book, The Guardian. And then there's another little piece of information. I think after next week, I'll be able to announce it on one of our shows. But I'll be working with Del on that too. So, but I want to start with him. Why don't you update us about AOF Megafest and how last year is also with this year, what is going to be involved?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here on such an esteemed panel of amazing individuals who've done so much with their lives. I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you. They're wonderful people.
I'm not joking. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Secondly, Action on Film will be held July 26th through August 1st in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the culmination of 15 festivals and events joined together in 1 week under one roof at the beautiful Galaxy Theaters in Las Vegas. We're going to have the legendary Stunt and Icon Awards, as well as our 2020 and 2021 AOF Awards and screenings. We'll be screening around 750 films. You can get information at actiononfilmfest.com, actiononfilmfest.com. Submissions are open through the next 3 months, so get your film or video, script, written word piece, box opening, book, poster art, storyboards, or pictures of your girlfriend if she's over 22, and well-dressed. No bikinis. And you can submit that. Send it our way.
It was a very classy request.
So you know how you know it was classy? Because when I was describing it, my pinky was up.
Yeah. Yep.
So, what are some things that are going, like, are you privy to announce what some of the things that are going to be happening at?
Yeah, we're going to have, we're going to be doing a bunch of seminars, including one called How to Win an Academy Award from an Academy Award winner. And we'll have an Academy Award winning producer who's producing that. We've got all kinds of great events happening that include parties, some beautiful black tie dinners and awards, and just look out for some celebrities, as we always do, and the big mixers, and of course our opening parties and closing brunches. So we're switching it up just a little bit in that regard. But the hat goes off to everybody with all their festivals, including yours, Conquering Disabilities with Film, which is fantastic, News Fest, TMIF, the Las Vegas Asian Film Awards, which is new for us, Hollywood Dreams, and New Music and Cinema. And it just goes on down the line. Everybody's got to show the new First Frame International. And of course, Erin Miracle with her new Miracle Makers Festival for new filmmakers. It's just a lot of fun, and it mixes the old with the young, because Action on Film is now 18 years old. And some of the other festivals are just starting out. So you get a good cross section of a lot of good experience and also some new spirit. So it's a wonderful thing.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Mr. Andrew Cooper, or Dr. Cooper, as you like to be called. So tell us about your two scripts, the one that won at my festival last year and the one that you submitted this year.
Okay. Well, the one that won last year is called Wonder Drugs, and it's about a woman who has an unnamed mental illness. And basically, on the surface at least, it's about her attempt to find the right cocktail of medications to deal with her mental illness. But in the way that the script unfolds, it is a quest, a hallucinatory journey through these different drug experiences. And so she ends up going through a giant garden where the flowers are as big as she is, and she goes to a mall in the clouds where there are different things that are sold to supposedly help with your sanity. And she there's a volcano that appears at the end of the street where she lives, and she ends up going inside the volcano, and all kinds of other crazy things on her quest for stability, which is the heroic dream, of course, of the journey that she is on. And I market it as a drama, but it's also kind of a fantasy, and I think it's a lot of fun, and you received it very well. So I assume that you and your judges had fun with it. So I was very, very excited to win the award from Conquering Disabilities with Film, because that tells me that I'm doing something right. It tells me that there is a message. There is hope in this script. There is a real sense of overcoming obstacles and finding a new kind of power over self-determination. And I believe anyway that you all saw that, and so that was a real gift to me to get that recognition from you guys. And so I'm excited to be coming to AOF and the AOF Mega Fest and to receive that in late July, early August.
Well,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
Sure.
Lina, what kind of toothpaste you use? Every time you smile, I gotta squint. I don't know if it's for everybody. There you go again. Look at, stop. Cover that up.
Oh man.
What is it, like Colgate Extra Bright?
Crest 3D White.
Crest 3D White.
I hope I get a royalty for that plug.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Crest, if you're listening, contact us.
They need to supply me
We
with
definitely-
a darker lens if I'm going to be around her.
We will have Lina's face in the beginning.
Oh,
Jiminy
but
Christmas.
now what?
Hey, where'd the idea for the script come from, Doc?
That question's for you, Andrew.
He said Doc.
Yeah.
Oh,
None of us
I'm
are
sorry,
at that level.
Would you repeat the question?
I said, where'd the idea for the script come from?
Well, it came from my own struggles to find the right cocktail for medications because of my own struggles with bipolar disorder and anxiety disorder and PTSD and a laundry list of other things. So there's the reality factor of the difficulty of finding the right drug cocktail. And I thought about that, and I thought about this character. Harriet Heavenward is her name, and she inspired me with her strength and the idea of making something really colorful out of the journey. The journey for me was not colorful and exciting, but for her it really is. And so I was able to make something that I hope is beautiful out of an experience that was not beautiful.
Is writing cathartic for you?
Often, yes. Or at least it's a way of turning things that may not be so great into experiences that are worth sharing and worthwhile.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amy.
So
Can I make a comment to what Andrew just said about the
Sure.
cocktail of medication?
Mm-hmm.
When you were first explaining about the premise, the synopsis of your script, it totally reminded me of that, because that's exactly what I go through, except I don't have those wonderful fantasies like what you have, like with volcanoes and stuff. I always get the downside of the side effects of medication. So when you were first saying that and explaining it, I was like, that's exactly kind of me. I was like constantly trying to find the right balance of a cocktail mix that will work all these different areas where the side effects won't interact with the other side effects of other things. So when you were saying that, it totally brought me there. And then to hear your actual explanation of where that came from was from your own search for what would work for you. It brought it all home. But I just wanted to say that I really relate to what you were saying.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I tried to make something relatable. It's one of the reasons I don't name the particular illness that the main character has, because I want her experience to be as universal as possible, because a lot of people go through this type of experience, even though the illnesses might vary some.
Right.
So why don't you tell us what the name of your script you entered is this year, and tell us a little bit about that one.
This year, the script that I've entered in Conquering Disabilities with Film is called Trouble at Home. It's not quite as bright and shiny as Wonder Drugs. Also a little bit autobiographical, in that it's about a family dynamic. There are two siblings who are going home to visit their mother, who has been abusive to them throughout most of their lives, and they decide to confront her, and she becomes very violent and agitated, and ends up bringing out a knife, and they disarm her and tie her to the bed, and the family animosity just sort of snowballs from there. There's a lot of yelling and screaming and recrimination, and it's a pretty heavy drama. But it also deals with mental illness. I never say what the mother's diagnosis is, but it is most likely borderline personality disorder. And the kids have one of the kids has an anxiety disorder. The other kid has PTSD. And it's just not a very happy house, as they're all tearing into each other and trying to work out their problems.
What struck me about the script was that it was so clean and the dialogue was so tight and the characters just popped right off the page. They seemed so real. And it was, even though it was dark and gritty, you were talking about something that maybe was heightened to a degree for dramatic purposes, but very much could have very possible the what ifs is very possible.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of it is based on actual experience, but it's a lot of actual experiences that happened over many, many years crammed into a shorter than 2-hour script. So it's kind of hyperactive in the amount of drama that occurs in a short time. But it is, I tried to make it as authentic as I could. So thank you.
Okay, Bill, any questions?
Me?
Yeah, any questions?
I'm just listening.
Okay, I'm going to go to Lina. Lina submitted a beautiful music video called Footprints and 2 beautiful songs, one called Behold the Beauty, and I can't remember the other one, but I remember listening to it and it was very easy to punch accept. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey as a singer-songwriter and how you're different, like some people say differently abled or disabled or, whichever term you prefer. Tell how that journey played in with your singer-songwriter journey.
Wait, can you get the name of that song before you go any further? Because like you teased it and you're not answering it, so now people are going to be wondering, not unlike I am right now, what the title is.
The other song she was talking about is called When I Seek You.
When I
seek you.
Thank you, beautiful. Footprints and When I Seek You. Thank you.
Yeah.
You should have done that, Amy.
It was Footprints, When I Seek You, and Behold the Beauty.
And Lina, can you hold your mic up just a little bit if you're able to on your headphones, or
sure?
Because it's a little bit low.
I can adjust that for you if you want.
Oh, and I can turn myself up as well. So let's all do some stuff here. Okay.
Turn up for what?
Only because JD, who is watching, says great conversation so far, and he said he would love to hear more of Lina.
Cool beans. All right, thank you. So, Amy, to answer your question, well, first to explain how writing the music helps me through my my physical challenges. Almost all of my songs are written about what we go through and the negative part of what we go through, and then I bring it home in the chorus with the salvation part of it, the hope part of it, because a lot of times what I go through and what my diagnosis are is that I'm a diabetic, and then I have severe fibromyalgia, and I also have severe neuropathy in my hands and legs, and I also deal with a lot of anxiety, and a lot of times it's hard for me to even get up out of my bed or even talk to myself. It's like my mind is sharp, but my body won't go, and it's hard. And and I also have a 3-year-old that also has disabilities as well. So it's really difficult. So when I'm writing songs, and I'm writing from a place of literal pain, but then I also have to always remember that there's hope and there's salvation past it. So, for example, I go through these random, and it may happen during this, sorry if it does, these random jabs of pains that happen throughout my body. They just electrocution or stabbings or, sawing feelings. They're painful, and they happen randomly, and you never know the duration of them. You never know when they're going to pop up. They just happen. So it's almost like I have a Tourette's moment where I have to go, because it just happened. It strikes no matter what you're doing. And when you're going through that on an hourly and moment by moment basis, it's very easy to kind of ball up into a corner and just say, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm over all this pain. I'm over all this medication I have to take, which none of the medicines have helped. I've 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 only experienced the side effects, the bad side effects. I've never experienced pain relief, and it's difficult. So when I write these songs, I remember about that pain that I go through, but then I also remember that I have a God that helps me through it and gives me strength, because I make it. Every day I say, wow, I made it another day, or I made it another hour. So I have to always kind of remind myself that there's a strength that comes over me that helps me push it aside, push it down, so I can deal with my daughter, so that I can deal with the day-to-day things that happen. And so that affects a lot of how I write. And I try to keep it up tempo and positive, because it's too easy to fall into the darkness and the negativity of what disabilities do to you. And so if I make it more up tempo and more positive, it, for whoever might listen at that moment, I hope that it gives them hope that you can make it through to tomorrow, you can make it through to the end of this hour, so that usually is what centers around how I write, and how it affects and how it ties into what I go through on a daily basis with my kids.
Well, I was going to say, one of my heroes, Maurice Bernard, talked when he had never experienced the anxiety part of bipolar disorder until COVID happened. And then he had it bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he couldn't get out of bed. It was like, it just paralyzed him. And his wife told him, you know what? You've always come out on the other side before. You're going to come out on the other side again. And he goes, she goes, you've always beat it. So now you can beat it. You've always beat it. But even though it might not feel like it at that, I can tell you in that moment, a part of you may want to say, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. But that's his person, who reminds him. So I remember meeting you on the red carpet at ICFF in 2016. You were so kind to me. Oh God, it was awful. It was so hot. It was so crowded, and I was spitting up water. And all I remember about that red carpet with the media lined up was because I was nominated for the Letters to Daniel script, and you were nominated for some songs, right? And
yes.
I was, and I remember, I don't know what your experience of the red carpet was like, but they had all these cameras and radio people and
all these lights,
right? And you have like 5 seconds to tell what your script, song, movie, whatever is about. And it felt like it was all a blur. I felt like I was going, it was just, I don't know what it is, but
it was totally like that. You just spit out a bunch of stuff and then on to the next, and then spit out a bunch of stuff. You don't even remember what you said two interviews ago, so yeah, I was with you.
I was gonna say, to tell you and Andrew, my first experience at Action on Film was in 2016, the same year, in September, when it was still in Monrovia, California. And like I went like to the Writers Awards dinner, and Andrew and his husband came with me, and we sat in the room at the Writers dinner, and I remember winning Best New Writer. Me and Missy did, but Missy wasn't able to make the trip that year. And I got up there, and it was everything I could do to just keep from crying.
Right.
But Dell is like, he's like, AOF is the greatest place. And when I sit down, Andrew and James were so happy for me. So I had like people I could celebrate with. And I remember getting a really nice text from Rich McKee. And and I just started crying. I've been able to hold it in, but once I got the really nice text, I just
Yeah.
and then somebody snapped a picture of me. There's a picture of me crying at the table in the gallery somewhere of the AOF MegaFest. And but I'm gonna say, you two, I'm glad you're coming because I know you all, right? And it's gonna be a magical experience for you because your first AOF is always the magic, the best. And somehow they managed to keep topping it. So, do you have any questions for my guest, Del?
Yes. Talking on the music side, where'd you learn to write music?
Uh,
Are you self-taught, or is it just something that you have an interest in?
yeah, I'm self-taught. I actually I listen to the music. So when these beat guys will give me a catalog of their music, I'll actually just sit and listen and hear what speaks to me. So
Right.
if I'm able to start ad-libbing and mumbling to a song, I'm like, okay, that's a song that I can write to because already I'm feeling inspired when I listen to it. But yeah,
Interestingly
just being a
enough,
fan of
before I
music.
got married, I spent a lot of time in nightclubs, and I would scan the women, and the ones I would mumble at, those are the ones I'd ask if they wanted to drink.
Oh my
That's
God!
a true story. That's a true story.
Wow.
Write that down.
That's golden.
It's true. It's true. And I think a lot of them thought I had a phone before phones were out. They just thought I was like a secret agent or something, so it was interesting to them.
Oh my God. Oh, so you were like doing the whole.
I didn't even do the wrist thing. I'd be like in my lapel, A lot of numbers. I'd say a lot of numbers. So why? Can we please bring this back to a level of entertainment, not this foolishness? Hey, when you write music, why do you think you've been able to write your music and then get it out where other people can't get that done? Why are you different?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know, that's why I asked. I don't just come on here because I look good or because I'm funny.
You are not.
Yeah, the ratings go
kidding,
up, but I'm
Amy.
actually
You are not
interested.
kidding.
People think just because you're pretty, like you don't care about people, but I do care.
Amen.
Yes, you do. Wow. Okay.
It's funny. I'm not gonna say it. It's funny, but I'm gonna keep it to myself. You can get some hate mail. I come up with that stuff.
Wow, I'm so glad I'm buckled in for this. I'm glad I was prepared. I was warned.
Nobody get hurt.
I keep on it because it's the gift that God gave me, and there's nothing. I heard this, I think, in a movie once, and they said there's nothing sadder than wasted talent. And I have a lot of friends who are so talented. They're writers, they're authors, but they will not. There's a fear. There's a fear of what happens if I go out there and put out there and nobody likes it. What happens if it does do well? People find ways to talk themselves out of it.
Right.
And I think for me, I keep doing it because no matter how much time I spend away from it, I keep feeling the pull, the inner pull from me to say, you got to keep going. You got to keep going, no matter what's going on, no matter if you are able to submit it, if you're able to get your album out, you just got to keep writing and keep going, because that's what I'm called to do. I'm called to do this, to entertain and to send a message and to try to deliver my version of hope for me, what I feel, and then hope that it helps someone else too.
That's beautiful. Every time that cat walks in front of that screen, I feel like I'm watching a commercial for the new Godzilla movie.
Oh wow!
Tell him to get down, it's Godzilla, it's Godzilla.
I know.
Okay.
Your cat's a ham. You know that, right? Your cat wants.
Oh,
to
yeah.
time.
He's like, hey, dude, I want to be on this show.
Yeah, I know.
She does like the camera.
Oh, she.
Yeah. So I was going to ask Andrew, would you tell us a little bit, because I met you in Kentucky, and you were writing novels at the time, and we met at Imaginarium in 2014 when a little proof of concept documentary I did for $340, Letters to Daniel, came through the pipeline, and you were one of the judges, and I didn't really know you, and I was looking for feedback. So I remember, not so much the other judges, but because, why don't you give us a little bit of your background, your educational background, and what your expertise is in?
Well, my PhD is in English literature, so and I focused on Gothic fiction, so I'm kind of a horror expert. That's my main wheelhouse there. But I went from finishing my PhD to a postdoc at Georgia Tech, and while I was there, I became much more interested in what their big deal was, which was new media and film and things like that. So I started teaching myself film studies and publishing articles and ultimately a book on film studies. So that's how I built up my credentials in the film world, which is how I ended up being a judge at a film festival. And I was teaching film studies in Kentucky. So those are the basic creds that I brought into the situation where you and I met. So I didn't know anything about script writing at that point. I could read scripts and I could evaluate them and I could talk about film history and things like that, but I couldn't actually write them yet myself. I ended up teaching myself that. But so those are the basics of my background. And but while I was living in Kentucky, I got more and more involved in the fiction writing world where you and I met, and more involved in film festivals. And it sort of lit a fire under me. So when I finally moved out to LA, and this was the town where it was all happening, I thought, gee, maybe I should write some scripts. And so that's what I started doing when I was out here. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but that's a quick rundown of my film background.
So I wanted to know if you would share with everybody what your initial impression of that little documentary and the journey it took, some impressions about that.
Well, you have progressed through light years since we first met. I mean, your original documentaries were always engaging, and you had a strong voice from the very beginning. But you in terms of cinematography and in terms of the way you put your scripts together, you've just gotten better and better since we met. And when, of course, you first let me read the script for Letters to Daniel, I was extremely impressed by that. I felt like you had amazing chemistry for your characters, and of course, it's a powerful story that, like we were talking about, my Wonder Drug story being relatable. I found your story to be completely relatable in terms of dealing with illness and recovery. So your film powers have just gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. Your writing was already very strong, but has also gotten stronger over the years. So it was like getting on board a little late, but getting on board for a journey with you from that early date. And I guess it's been 7 years now. Over the last 7 years, you have climbed a great tower.
Yes.
You're a PhD in literature?
Yeah.
In specific in horror?
I did specialize in Gothic fiction and horror.
So the most horrific thing I ever read was the divorce papers I was served with by my third ex-wife. Hey, beautiful. It's gonna get rough. You may not want to hear this. I'm gonna walk away before you get hurt, kid. I mean, the things she said in those papers, and it wasn't just that, but she had them served also to my next fiance. Can you tell me, in your estimation as an expert, what is the best horror novel written in the modern era?
Oh goodness.
It's not always about me, brother. I mean, usually it is, but just not in this case. You should put the Jeopardy music on, John.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how modern you want. I mean, one of the first things.
Hey, don't limit me. I'm like a bird, man. I'm flipping my wings. I give you the world, you want to hand me Fontana. Let's go.
Well, one of the first that come to mind is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which is from the 50s. So I don't know if that's modern enough for you, but it's hard to beat. It's a great novel.
Nobody's ever asked you this question before.
People ask this question in my mind.
I mean, you pop off without a literature PhD with a focus on horror. I gotta know.
But mostly
you
I
had
focus
time
on
to
the
read all the
19th
classics.
century. So I
pushing
really
trash
modern
cans around
stuff.
for $50 at the end of the week.
The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. If you like to have your psyche destroyed.
It's so interesting you've not mentioned Stephen King. I find that to be so interesting.
I was trying to pick a Stephen King novel. I was like, which one do I pick?
Yeah, but you could not even in the top 3. It's very interesting to me.
I mean, Pet Sematary is one of the scariest books. I read it when I was very young, but it's one of the scariest books I remember reading. It, of course, is a great novel, and I like the recent film adaptations as well. I mean, I grew up loving Stephen King. I mean, I would still love to meet him someday. So I hope that I can break out and become famous enough to have an excuse to meet him before he completely retires from public life. But who knows?
Not on your list, huh?
Oh, he's on my list. He's definitely on my list.
Say his name.
Hey, can I ask a question to Andrew?
Sure.
Andrew, how long did it take you to write your latest script? Like, how long did it take you from start to finish?
Drafting a script usually takes me 3 or 4 weeks.
Really? Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but he's had some fantastic results, like Greenlight My Pitch, Screencraft, right, and AOF. He does well at AOF. He undersells himself. He's very humble, and he's got a good heart, and I'm glad he blessed me with 2 submissions, one last year and one this year, and I highly encourage both of you to enter AOF MegaFest and Hollywood Dreams and take a look at some of those other festivals as well to see if you're a fit, because it's a great way to get eyeballs on your script and get exposure in the industry. AOF absolutely unequivocally out of all the festivals I've been to is the one that changed my life the most. So
well, I think between 2020 and 2021 I have something like 10 scripts in the AOF MegaFest right now. So
what? Really? Wow.
No, that's not uncommon. A few years back, maybe 6 years back, someone submitted like 9 scripts in a season, and then another writer mentioned it to another writer, and then that writer submitted like 12 the next season, and then the other one submitted 14. So it's very common that one writer will submit 15, 20 scripts in a season.
Holy cow.
And
okay, so I'm not afraid.
I was shocked. I mean, at first, 6 years ago, I was like, well, that's I didn't understand it. And then when I realized that, honestly, we fell off the map, and I think in 2017, or 2018, that was a bad year for us. There's no question. It was a bad year, in my estimation, of my show. And the writers suffered. And so we've redoubled our efforts this year, and I think they're going to see a real change, not just in how we produce the shows and do the awards, but in what we're going to be able to offer them. And there's some things that are happening live for some of the writers who'll be attending that they're never going to imagine they'd be able to experience, I think is the best way to put it. And it's only going to be done by AOF. So we want to make sure that they know that this show was born on the backs of writers. I mean, because I'm a writer, and we dropped the ball. So I want to apologize to everyone about that publicly. And I made a slur against Godzilla earlier. So anybody who is a Godzilla fan, all right, screw you people. But the other ones, I apologize for.
I was going to say we do have some announcement about prizes for the Conquering Disabilities with International Film Festival.
Prizes.
Yes, we have up to 6 distribution awards being awarded, including 2 from G1NBC. And Real Women's Network. That goes to their stipulation was 2 female directors, and I'm sure the AOF gets plenty of it. With 750 film screening, there's gonna be women directors there.
Yeah.
Also there is.
You know that 47% of our submissions are from women.
That does not surprise me.
Our film submissions are 47% female.
Wow.
You treat us good.
Damn right I do, baby girl.
Oh,
I tell you something else. This podcast is over. I want you to call me. We got some things to talk about.
This is why his divorce papers sound like horror films.
I'll tell you something. She got out just in time, too. I had done this big job, and money had just come in. And I knew she was leaving, because that old Alfred Hitchcock cutout for his show, just his belly and his profile, right? Right before, for like 2 weeks before she left, I look out my bedroom window and I see that little silhouette. So I go, why is she going with an old fat guy? And I'm like, I know she's leaving. And then she leaves. Like 2 days later, I see the guy's hotel in the corner. I'm like, was he gonna steal something? So I take a baseball bat and I go out there and I find out it's just a kid standing with his backpack against his fence, talking to a prostitute that he would later try to kill. So in a way, I kind of saved her life. So I feel good about the divorce, I guess.
I was going to say we also have a faith-based streamer, Saltflix. They like inspirational and as long as it's inspiring, and they like faith-based films as well. They offer a short for a feature. And then the very exciting Cindy Cowan, who is the producer of Traffic and If These Walls Could Speak and Very Bad Things and just a whole host of other things. She is offering a 6-month screenwriting mentorship.
Wow.
To the Screenwriter of the Year
Wow.
for the Conquering Disabilities with Film Festival.
That's awesome.
So that's some exciting stuff going on.
Hey, I got a question from somebody I guess is watching on Facebook.
Okay.
They want to know if they're not disabled, but if they cause somebody else's disability, if they can enter your festival.
Wow.
Oh.
The yes or no? Wait, and they said full pay. What does that mean? I guess they don't want a waiver.
You know, if the subject matter is about disabilities or about addiction, drug and alcohol addiction, we'll take the project. But
Wait. So you're saying it doesn't have to be by someone who's suffering from a disability. It could be just about a person or a project about. See, listen, I'm part of your show and I never knew that distinction.
I thought you did. I told this.
No, I never knew that. So that's a big difference.
Someone's not paying attention.
Yeah, as long as the content includes.
As long as the content is inclusive.
We need to change. We need to change a little something on your marketing. That's a beautiful thing. I didn't know that.
I think you suggested it too. Teresa also did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think it was put into play. So that may be why I was shocked to hear you say it. Because that was like a year ago.
But
I'm so used to being vetoed by you guys. I was like, no.
Wow.
It was a good idea. No. I hear about it like 6 months later, like you guys thought about it.
Okay. I don't know. Andrew, tell them where they can find you and your work and everything else.
Well, you can look for me at landrewcooper.com/screenplays. And so you can see all my log lines there, as well as a list of awards and things that I've won.
Okay. And Lina, where can they find you and your work?
I'm all over Facebook. I'm all over YouTube. You can Google up Lina, Lina. I'm also at linaxoxo.com, so you can find me and my works and stuff there.
Okay. And Mr. Del Weston, where can they find you?
Well, it depends on how soon they want to get in touch, because I'm trying to find something to complain about, because I'm trying to start an argument so I can get out of the house. But everything is right.
When you're good, you're good.
Man. I was thinking about some donut holes, and she put them on the table like 20 minutes ago. I'm like, I can't even get out of the house for that. So I guess I'm not going anywhere, so I guess you got to go to actiononfilmfest.com, actiononfilmfest.com, or delweston.com. That's delweston.com.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to add, John?
I don't. Great interviews tonight. Great panel discussion.
Wait, are you saying it's over?
We're gonna.
That was it?
We are gonna outro. We are gonna outro whenever Dell's ready to leave. We are gonna outro.
I'm sorry. I thought like a break or bathroom break or something. Okay, all right, fine.
We're gonna show the Old King Cole trailer, and then our outro music is again the talented Lina Figueroa and Behold the Beauty.
Thank you.
So who's up next week?
I don't know. I have to.
So we're coming on at 9:30 next Monday, everybody, like we do on Amy Unplugged. I wouldn't say every week, most Mondays.
Yes.
And Amy will have a guest by then.
I will have at least 2 guests, like tonight, from Cochrane Disabilities. And if Dell is not busy shooting another film, I will invite him to sit on the panel once again, because he always
I
makes
love it here. It's a comfortable place, and there's donut holes. So I'm
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Recovery Unplugged Live. We'll see you next Monday at 9:30 right here on Amy Unplugged. Here is the trailer for Old King Cole.
Thank you.
Starring someone that we've met tonight.
That's a badass trailer.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
upside down and shaking all around. There seemed no end inside. I thought I was losing. I remember what you say. You've got a place for me. Protection from the storm. It's you I'm choosing. You've got a love so pure. It pulls me in for sure. It's all consuming. Your gentle lovingness washes away my mess. It proves you truly love the real me. Behold the beauty of the Lord. Oh, it washes me whiter than snow. Oh, this I know for sure. Your love, it makes me pure. Come wash over me and make me clean. Behold the beauty of the Lord. When I wanna run away, you gently reach for me. You set me up so high, I have no worries. You did not hide your face, did not turn me away. Of you, Lord, I will sing and tell